And welcome to True Blue Politics Daily Podcast with Karen.
And Anita,
And today is June 5th, year of our Lord 2026. And we are going to jump right in and talk about the elephant in the room right now, which is this Graham Plattner dude in Maine who
yeah,
is
he's running for Senate, and the primary is, just to let you know, is next week, next Tuesday, June 9th.
mhm
So it's coming up real quick. And so all this stuff is coming out. And he was on Chris Hayes last night, and it was a very long interview. I watched the whole thing. And Chris Hayes, I mean, he was holding his feet to the fire. He was asking him some pretty good questions, and he was asking him about these allegations from these women, because the New York Times came out with this article where some women there was like I don't know, about six women, and like three of them had been former girlfriends, or they'd all been former girlfriends, and or had some sort of relationship with him. And the three of them had said, "Oh no, he was, every we're still friends, they still talk,
was
or
yeah.
they're still friends." And but they did, all of them kind of mentioned that he had a drinking problem, some other issues. Now he has said, and he has come out and said, because he served in Iraq or
Mhm.
Afghanistan, somewhere,
Mhm.
I don't know, but he served during that time. And he's talked about, he's been very open about some of the problems he's had, some anger issues, and he has some drinking problems, a drinking problem. And so they talked about that. And then this um, the other three women talked about, two of them were talking about his, you know, anger issues. But not that he was violent or anything like that. They just said he was very volatile. And then this one woman said, no, he was violent with her. And she talked about some incident where he yanked her out of the car by her arm and left a bruise, and some other stuff. Not Nothing that was permanent, or she wasn't seriously hurt, but still. Um, and that he had drinking problems. She said some other things, and he said, now she is a Republican operative.
Mhm.
She had worked for Susan Collins. She had worked for the Republicans. So I mean, I don't know what to believe about that. But so he said he completely denied any of that. He said no, that's not true. He was very
Mhm.
firm about that. And then he asked him about, she also said that he knew about the tattoo being, it was a Nazi tattoo, and he used to, talk about it. And there were some previous allegations about him knowing, and she had talked about it or posted something a while back before any of this came out, that he had known about it before he denied knowing about it. She just kind of said it in passing, that he had talked about, his tattoo and his what is it, Totenkopf, and he called it my Totenkopf. I think it's what it's called. I'm not
Mhm.
really sure,
Yeah,
but
anyway. Mhm.
anyway, so he said, how that didn't make any sense. How would she have known that? Why would she have said that back then? And he didn't really come out with a clear answer, honestly. Um, and so I was, my that stuff. Okay, that's one thing. And I don't, honestly, I don't put a lot of stock in what this Republican operative said. I'm a little bit suspicious of
Yeah,
it.
well, she doesn't have a lot of credibility just because of that fact.
Right. Yeah, then that makes me a little more suspicious of it, because we've
Right.
seen this in the past,
Yeah, we
okay,
have.
with these Republicans, and we know they will do stuff like this.
Mhm.
So my problem was more that he was like, just talking about how the establishment just doesn't want, somebody who's going to shake things up, or, he said in that's basically what he was saying. And that kind of bothered me, because, my issue with him is more that here is a guy who has no experience at all, and he's running for Senate.
Mhm.
He's never held the office before. He's an oyster farmer who had an oyster business. He's basically a Nepo baby, too. So he's kind of a poser, as this middle class, working class guy, right? And he owns this oyster, farm,
Mm-hmm.
and his mother happens to be the biggest purchaser from that. She pretty much props up his company. So that, there are things like that that are more disturbing to me than, I mean, of course, the allegations, you can't, no, if there's any kind of if there's anything true, if there's, to the allegations about him being violent,
Mm-hmm.
that's very disturbing, of course, and we should always
Mm-hmm.
take that serious. And it's also like just that, he has this baggage, and I'm like, you know, this is such an important election, and we really can win this one in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Maine has voted for Biden, voted for Kamala, voted for. I mean, it's a blue state, except for Susan Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it used to have two women, Olympia Snowe and Susan Collins, both Republicans,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because it's a blue state. But
Yeah.
anyway, now it's Angus King, the independent, and Susan Collins. But anyway, so yeah, it just seems like, you know, that he just has a lot of baggage, and it just bothers me that he's the
It's
nominee.
it's really, yeah, I mean, I think it's something. So I just I want to remark, but before I do that, I'm going to say so Graham Plattner served in the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan. He completed 3 combat tours in Iraq as a United States Marine and 1 combat tour in Afghanistan with Maryland Army National Guard. So that's kind of his military background. And it does kind of make me wonder what kind of vetting was done
But
before, you
who's doing
know,
the betting?
well, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, if he's going to be a Democratic candidate, is he getting, the backing of the DNC? Is he getting who's backing him is a question that I would have. And then,
But the
and
DNC
then,
has no choice. He's going to
okay,
win.
okay,
Okay,
okay. Can I just,
okay, go ahead.
so if the DNC is going to back a candidate, and I get what you're saying, they don't have any choice. I mean, if he's, the front runner, but what kind of vetting is done? And like you were, shared an article with, Emily's list, and at what point were the alarms or these, concerns raised, and why wasn't it raised earlier before he kind of gained this much traction, I guess is my question.
Well, they were raised. I mean, this stuff came out about the tattoo and everything a long time ago. But the truth is,
But
apparently the voters in Maine.
but again, where were these women? Like if you're doing, I would imagine they're doing some level of like, vetting at the not necessarily, maybe not this deep, but like at the oppo, you know, what is it? The oppo research.
Research
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
but it,
that, because this is the thing. That it's going to be done by the Republicans that are running against him at some point. Any front runner, right? They
well,
do oppo research.
but the responsibility, and the reason why the sexting, that I failed to mention this. He also, was sexting these 6 women, during, early on in their marriage, when he first got married,
Mm-hmm.
like in 2023, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still sexting these other women, a number of women.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife reported that to the campaign because of that, because that's what you're supposed to do. It's the campaign's responsibility to vet the candidate because, like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
Republicans are certainly going to use that. So you want to know everything you can, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
you'll be prepared. So that was their responsibility to do that. And when she left the campaign, this woman that was, the wife who gave this to the campaign manager, this information, this campaign manager, when she left the campaign, she reported this information to the media, which is kind of low, but still, the point is, it's up to the campaign itself,
Mm-hmm.
because that stuff's going to be used against. That is why I think a lot of people within the Democratic Party knew that there were some issues with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
because that's why they urged Janet Mills to get in the race,
Mm-hmm.
and who's the popular governor there, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
thought she would have the best chance, but she was like 20 points behind.
Mm-hmm.
in the primary. So I'm not sure how much information she was given, or if she was allowed to use any of this information at the time,
Mm-hmm.
during the primary. But here we are, and he's way ahead. And the truth is, in these kind of, low bar that we have now because of the Republicans
Right.
and because of Donald Trump, it's almost like we're like,
Yeah.
you
Wait,
know,
he's a drunk. He's got a drinking problem. Well, that's Pig Hegseth. That's Cash Patel, apparently.
right. And he's,
Right? Yeah.
and with Donald Trump, I mean, my God, how can you
Mm-hmm.
even, it's so much, Donald Trump has, been, is an adjudicated rapist. I
Right.
mean,
Right. I
you
mean,
know,
it's rich coming from the Republican Party.
it really is.
I mean, yes, we want to hold ourselves to a different standard, a higher level, and but, I mean, where we are right now, it's like it is kill or be killed, and it's like, do or die. What else? I mean, it's like we have to
I
do
know.
this. We have to do this, and so it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but Politico put out an article. Democrats are furious after latest Plattner revelations. A New York Times report with new allegations about Democrats' Nazi symbol tattoo and conduct with women has the party freaking out over its main Senate chances.
Well,
Um,
they did
yeah.
some polling. They showed some polling, and his numbers against Susan Collins have actually, the margin between him and her, because he was beating her, has definitely decreased. So he's
Mm-hmm.
not. And the problem with running against Susan Collins, because she ran in, I guess, 6 years ago, of course, like
Mm-hmm.
in 2018, and her opponent was ahead then. I mean, she always outperforms the polls, so
Mm-hmm.
he needs to be way ahead. And right now, he's not.
Yeah.
So after all this stuff came out, and who knows what's going to happen on Tuesday, but I mean on in November, but um yeah, it's kind of scary. He's not. He's got a lot of baggage, but I mean, what are we gonna? This is up to the people of Maine, the Democrats of Maine, who they're going to
Mm-hmm.
choose. And it's hard right now because when they're looking at what the Republicans are, and their Secretary of Defense has Nazi tattoo, has white supremacist tattoos. Half of them, I mean, Jesus, it's how people are angry and they're like, why should we have to be held to a different standard?
Right. I mean, I think that, and for me, and you and I, we spoke about this before, for me, the stuff that went on with, the women and, I mean, that stuff is, between he and his wife.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the
I
violence,
don't,
though.
the violent part of it, that is coming from a Republican operative.
Right.
So I feel like her credibility is diminished significantly just because of that. But and I said this to you earlier, for me, the thing with the Nazi tattoo, I mean, first of all, you're in the US military, okay? We fought the Nazis, we fought fascists, right? And now here you are, a member of the military, get that tattoo, okay? Stupid young person, move. And then you find out that it's a Nazi, like let's say he didn't know.
It's a
Okay.
skull. It's like a skull and crossbone.
Yeah,
A
you have
crossbone. So he may. Yeah.
17 years. You have
Yeah.
17 years to get rid of that thing. Why are you waiting? Why if it was like, I mean, if I had something, and here's the thing too, Nita, if I'm getting something on my body permanently, like I'm gonna know what that shit is. You
Yeah,
know?
but
I
we're not every.
mean, wouldn't
I
you?
know. I would, but I'm not everybody. I don't
I
get
mean, maybe he
confused.
was drunk. If he's, if he was,
No,
it was
I
like a
hate that
drunk
excuse.
thing. Well, I know people that did do that. Okay, I'm just gonna say,
I
not
don't know
me, but
anybody. I've
oh,
heard
well,
tattoo
I do.
artists,
Well, I
but
do.
tattoo artists cannot legally put
Well,
a tattoo on somebody drunk.
well, I'm telling you right now, I've had a number of people that I know say that they got really drunk, and
They
they're like in
say,
Tijuana, in Tijuana.
well, that's
Yeah,
Tijuana.
well, that's what I mean, though. I mean, so it's like it can be, it does happen.
But I've never seen it. People may say that all the time, but really, maybe
But
it's just
but be that as it may, dude, you've had 17 years to get rid of it. You
Yeah.
know, that's the part that really bothers me. And it feels, it's like giving me Fetterman vibes. And again, but it is Maine voters' responsibility to
Can I
vote.
just say something else about the drunking thing? To me, it's like when people saying, he was drunk when he used the N word. Okay, he got a Nazi tattoo. I don't care if he was drunk anyway,
No, I
right?
don't care. No, I'm just saying. No, no, no. I'm just saying that I do know personally people that were drunk when they got tattoos, and not Nazi tattoos, and not, but tattoos that maybe wouldn't, stand the test of time. you know, which is why, again, if I'm getting something permanently put on my body, I'm going to know what that thing is.
So yeah, but I mean, putting that aside, okay? Let's put that aside. And even the sexting, I mean, of course, the sexting thing, that's between him and his wife, like you said. And then we've got the woman, the allegations from these women, these former girlfriends, and but honestly, all that, it's just a lot of baggage, just constant baggage, and who knows what else is going to come up.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, what
if I
else is there exactly?
yeah, so if I were in Maine, I'm not a Mainer,
Hmm.
but I would vote. There's another candidate. His name is David Costello. He's got 25 years he served as in USAID. He served in the Department of Education. So I just think, you know, that would be a better pick, but that's just me. I don't know. The people of Maine are going to have to decide.
Hmm. So Fox News, you sent me something from Fox News.
I know. You know why?
Hmm.
Because
Why?
this is how they're portraying it, okay? It's just, and I don't know if any of this is, take it with a grain of salt. It is Fox News.
Mm, am I playing this? Do I got to play this?
No, we'll just talk about it. You can
Uh,
read it.
uh. So, Graham Plattner accuser hits New York Times for allegedly softening allegations, says coverage was gift to Democrat. Graham Plattner pushed back on allegations from ex-girlfriend Lindsay Fifield while his
She's
camp
the, Go ahead. She's the Republican operative. Go ahead. Just making that clear.
well, let me finish. Lindsay
Okay.
Fifield, while his campaign dismissed her as a GOP operative. Lindsay Fifield, an ex-girlfriend of Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner, hit the New York Times for allegedly softening her allegations of abuse, saying coverage was a gift to the Democrats' campaign. After speaking to the New York Times about Plattner's history of being a narcissist abuser, Fifield, and I'm probably botching her name, I don't care, claims the outlet failed to include corroboration from other women that she offered and left out screenshots and other evidence she provided. Why does it say nobody could corroborate when I offered them sources that could corroborate? She wrote on X. Where were the screenshots they'd said they would use, or the mention that I'd supported local Democrats and that most of my family and husband are liberal? The editors said it was too much, they explained. The Times also failed to include any mention that I did confide in multiple friends through the years that Graham had been abusive long before he was running for office. Those friends confirmed they told the Times so. Well, who cares about that? Because, I mean, look at Judge Kavanaugh. What's
Yeah,
that?
but not only that, but
It's
the thing is,
like,
when the Times say it was too much, that means
right,
it sounds like they didn't believe her.
right.
There's
Yeah,
something weird about that.
yeah,
And it's only in Fox, by the way.
right.
That's so I would trust the New York Times before I trust Fox News.
Yes. Well, you would? That's
Yeah.
weird. Emily's list though, sound the alarm. Graham Plattner says sexual assault victims should take some responsibility is now deleted Reddit posts. Maine U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner made disturbing comments about sexual assault victims in Reddit posts that were deleted shortly before he launched his campaign, saying assault victims should just take some responsibility for themselves to avoid attacks and act like an adult for fuck's sake. He said, People should avoid alcohol so they don't end up in compromising situations, and downplayed the challenges service members face in reporting sexual assault. That's a problem.
That is a problem. Yeah. See,
And yeah.
go ahead,
So
finish
Emma,
that.
yeah, I just want to say Emily's List, the nation's largest resource for women in politics, works for elected to elect Democratic pro-choice women up and down the ballot and across the country. Anyway, so that's who they are. So they're putting this out. This is from Emily's List. President Jessica Mackler released the following statement. Graham Plattner's comments blaming victims of sexual assault are unacceptable and disqualifying. They're also the fastest way to hand Susan Collins a victory should Plattner advance to this race. In the past 24 hours alone, we have learned that Plattner blamed victims for sexual assault, called the Maine voters he is seeking to represent racist and stupid, and promoted violent political action. Taking back control of the Senate relies on winning the seat, and the stakes are much too high. We cannot afford to put that responsibility in the hands of this man. It is clear that Janet Mills, with a proven record of winning elections and delivering for Maine, is the only candidate who can beat Susan Collins and flip the seat. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
mean, it is disturbing.
there's some problems here.
There are some real issues with this guy. Okay. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. I will support him if he wins the primary because I want a Democrat. I'm not a voter in Maine, so it doesn't really matter. But um, Susan Collins is more problematic to me.
Hmm. One of the things that was brought up on Stephanie, and I believe they were talking about on, Chris Hayes. I think they were saying that, there's the polls are saying that he's behind, that people, women in particular, are moving away from him. But then they were, doing like a man on the street
Uh-huh.
piece, and the people that they were speaking to said no, they're going to fully support Plattner.
Yeah.
So I don't
I
know.
don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we
I
will
mean, I
see.
don't go by the man on the street
I
thing
don't
because
either, but yeah.
yeah, we'll see. You know what? I just hope the Democrat wins because
Mm,
Susan Collins,
it's got to go.
she voted for Kavanaugh.
Hmm.
She voted for she didn't vote for the big beautiful bill, but she voted for it to be able for them to have a vote on it, right?
Yeah.
So to move it forward. And that's basically the same thing. That's the same thing as I mean, she's trying to have it both ways. To say
Yeah.
she didn't vote for it because she wants to remain this kind of moderate, this she wants to pretend that she's this moderate, right? Continue to
Hmm.
pretend that she is. So now she's been like on that issue, she voted to move it forward, but she didn't vote for it. So she voted for it before she voted against it. Remember that?
Hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So anyway.
You were sharing with me, Hunter Biden has been on fire, on
Oh
fuego.
no, I didn't know we were going to talk about that right
Oh,
now.
I mean, you sent all of this marked
No,
as
that was for
Friday.
you. That was
That was marked as Friday, so I'm just
I
covering.
know, but that was before. Okay,
All
that's
right.
my
Well,
fault.
listen, I mean, so he's just basically, well, just really quickly. So,
Okay.
some of the things on here, breaking Hunter Biden enrages MAGA by penning a brilliant list of things that most Americans agree on. And it's as hilarious as it is brutal for Trump. How many of these do you agree with? Just wait till you get to the Epstein jab. Groceries cost too much, the former president's son wrote on X. Tariffs suck and make no sense. Congress and presidents shouldn't trade stocks. The debt is a mess. The border should be secure, but legal immigration is good. Endless wars are stupid, especially ones that nobody wants and have never been explained. Americans are exhausted. AI is like my new best friend that also might be trying to take my job, my ability to think for myself, and my humanity in the process. Yo, like I love you, but WTF, but I still love you. Diversity is actually awesome, the opposite of boring AF. Canadians are super fucking cool. Mexicans are chill. Putin isn't a good guy looking out for America's best interest. Rocky 4 and Miracle are great movies. Good neighbors are a blessing. Freedom of religion and coexistence without having to blow each other up is probably a good idea. We all question, are we alone in the universe? We all fuck up along the way. Epstein didn't hang himself. The Trumps and Epstein were best friends for decades. It's like Bert trying to tell us Ernie was just an acquaintance in the same social scene on Sesame Street back in the day. The Cowboys suck. Go Birds. Things we're told to fight about: me, laptop, vaccines, transgenders in sports, pronouns. That's the joke, he concluded.
Yeah. I know he's been on fire on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. Oh my God.
Yep,
And he's funny. He's actually really funny.
he is. Oh, yeah.
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 So maybe
So,
he should be running for Senate in Maine.
yeah, exactly. So this is what he said. I know this may sound petty, but I can't stand it when people put Photoshop a meth pipe in my mouth. A crack pipe doesn't have that little bowl at the end. This is why we can't trust AI. Please make the appropriate edit. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
He's funny.
Oh
He's,
my God, that is funny.
I know. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, try to look at some of these posts by Hunter Biden. They're pretty funny.
Oh, it
A-
is good. Yeah.
Anyway, and he says,
Anyway,
and not only that, but he speaks truth. He puts
yes,
out the facts
sure
about
does.
Jared Kushner and about the
Mhm.
Trumps. Yeah, and what the media is not doing.
Yep, exactly right. Okay, so I'm going to try and share this. Hold on, bear with me, because
Okay,
sometimes it does its own thing.
what is that that you're sharing?
You're going to see. You
Okay,
sent it to me.
Time Todd
Uh,
Blanche testified before Congress, he yelled at members of the Senate and told them that they were going to make this $1.776 billion bribery fund no matter how the Republicans felt about it. And then he had to go back to the Senate a few days ago and say, we are not moving forward with the fund. Period. This reminds me of when Kristi Noem said that Kilmar Abrego Garcia would never step foot on American soil again. He's at home on American soil, and she's been fired. The staff at the Kennedy Center has gotten a memo to start taking your name off the building. That's okay. You can look in Epstein's birthday book if you want to find your name and stuff. Remember that housing Nepo baby who suggested to Trump drunkenly at a Mar-a-Lago dinner that 50-year mortgages would solve the housing crisis? Do you remember that?
Hmm.
You tried to make him Director of National Intelligence. Senators in your own party were like, you. And about 3 hours later, you were like, I didn't mean forever, guys. Just for like a minute. God. When you're so useless, even Murkowski is like, I don't even want you in this building. Mm-mm. The House has approved a war powers resolution about Iran. You don't care about the midterms, but they do. Pete Hegseth keeps firing really experienced members of the military for no reason. So members of your party on House Armed Services have approved a measure that a Democrat suggested, saying that he's got to explain himself about it within 5 days. Oh, and then 18 Republicans broke ranks after Mike Johnson specifically told them not to vote for sanctions against Russia and for more aid to Ukraine. Sellers of homes are pulling their properties off the market at the fastest pace since the plague. The reason they were pulling them in 2020 is because no buyers wanted to leave their homes because they would catch COVID and die. You are just as bad for the economy as a plague. Jerome Powell's not the Fed chair anymore, but it just doesn't matter, does it? The Fed has released a report that says inflation is getting worse because you are stupid, caused by rising energy prices because of your war in Iran that nobody asked for. The USDA has confirmed that screwworm has made its way up from Mexico into America, and that's because you cut USAID's inspection services. They warned you in the spring of last year that if you did that this would happen. Oh, who cares? Well, beef is about to get even more expensive, so, everyone. The Attorney General of Arizona is coming after your allies over 2020. You're not the only one who can bang that drum forever. And the New York State House has approved a measure to redraw their maps. So that's going to go before New York voters next year. Gee, I wonder what they'll do. A whole slate of big tech-backed candidates have lost their primaries. Why does that matter for Republicans? No reason, I'm sure. Oh, and your net approval is now the lowest of any president in the history of the Economist poll. Ever. Winner! It's okay, babe. I'm sure since you've surrounded yourself with brilliant, loyal people of very high character, you'll be just fine. Welcome to Monte.
Mm-hmm.
that's Trump's L's for the week. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So Amanda's mild takes. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I thought we could use those.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, not going good. I mean, it's definitely not going good. And I mean, and we talked about this a little bit on, our previous daily when we were talking about the fact that Peter Thiel is leaving the country.
Hmm.
I think these tech billionaires are starting to read some tea leaves and know that there's going to be accountability. And look, and we talked about this before, freeze their fucking assets. When
Yeah,
we have the opportunity, freeze them and get our goddamn money back because it's our fucking money.
yeah. Well, and make them pay for the damage they've done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so you shared with me from Civic Lens on Twitter, News Nation MAGA host.
Yeah, this is a News Nation MAGA host who was begging Donald Trump for help. You know, the benevolent king.
Oh,
You know how
yes.
benevolent he is.
Oh my God, cares about the people.
Hmm.
Let me play this.
Mr. President, your supporters are hurting. People who voted for you 3 times, who would walk over Legos covered in hot coals to vote for you, are broke. Some are skipping meals. Others are buying canned chicken in bulk because that's all they can afford. The cost of food and gas is just so high. People are finding it impossible to pay for their kids' after school sports once they fill up the car with gas. People who support you and support the war in Iran, who were willing to pay a little more to make sure our grandkids don't have to live with the threat of a nuclear-armed terror state, who were willing to pay a little more for the possibility of reshoring our great manufacturing base with tariffs, well, they've paid all they can. Some are expressing anger and frustration. They feel that they voted for you to bring down the costs. Others are just quietly skipping meals. And contrary to what some in your administration keep saying, it's not just vibes. Mr. President, you're
Wow. Oh,
Oh, you
I
know what
love
she's
the way
saying.
the tone that she feels that she needs to use with him.
But what she's
You
saying is, you know what? You're fucking up. Okay,
Yes.
we're gonna lose the midterms. Get your
Yeah.
shit together, Donnie.
Yes. You
That's what she's
know.
really saying. She's begging him, and like a little boy, like you have to
Hmm.
talk to a child,
Yes. Now, Johnny. Now,
Donnie.
Donnie. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, Donnie, if you don't eat your vegetables,
Please say, remember to say please and thank you.
please remember to say please and
Yeah.
thank
I mean, it's so ridiculous that they have to talk to him like this. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get him to come on, please do something.
you. Right.
This is really going bad. Your approval
Right.
ratings are in the tank. Republicans are going to lose.
Hmm.
And so they have to talk to him like this because God forbid they
Hmm.
just tell him the truth, right?
Right. Right.
And,
It in like no uncertain terms. You're
right.
fucking up, dude.
Like an adult.
Yeah, people are hurting. You made promises. You were, and that you not only are you not keeping it, and now you're going out there and you're saying you don't stop talking about affordability. Stop talking about when you ran on affordability. Stop talking about the Epstein files when you ran on the Epstein files. Like that's the shit that they should be saying.
Well, and you promised to lower prices, and look what you've
That's
done.
right.
And listen to what she's saying. She's saying, and the tariffs, people were willing to pay the higher prices to bring back manufacturing. Guess what? We're losing. We've lost 100,000
That's
manufacturing
right.
jobs.
That's right.
Everything is going to shit. But she can't tell, nobody can tell him in plain English like you would talk to an adult.
Yeah.
So they have to come at it like this.
Yep. Yep. They're
This is,
losing.
yeah,
Losing. So
yeah.
anyway, well, that's about it for today. As usual, we will play you out with a Lego video.
Yeah, this is a good one about Donald Trump's.
Oops, sorry. God bless. See, it just starts playing without.
It's poltergeist is what that is. But
Well, and
it's
it's
about his part selling pardons. It's basically
oh great. Yeah.
yeah. But that's what I mean. Every day I see on Twitter another guy, committed fraud and defrauded consumers out of like millions or billions of dollars that Donald Trump has pardoned, and nobody's going to get their money back.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, here we go. And before we go, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. Smash the button,
Raise our
folks.
algorithm. We need it for the algorithm. And head over to our Patreon page where you can find the daily drops as well as our bi-weekly podcast. There's a lovely chat room. if you can give something, go for it. If not, no biggie. We'd love to have you. And on that note, have a great weekend.
Yes, have a good weekend.
Well, he set up shop in Washington, behind the Oval Door. Hung a sign out front that read, "Welcome to the Pardon Store." Got a crypto billionaire who needed charges cleared. 40 million later, and the guilty plea disappeared. Step right up to the Pardon Store. Everything's for sale. Money laundering, fraud, corruption will keep you out of jail. Just find somebody close to him and slide him what you got. Step right up to the Pardon Store, where justice costs a lot. He started up a war with Iran and forgot to tell his friends. Now the NATO naughty list is growing without end. He's gonna kick out Spain because they wouldn't lend their sky. Meanwhile, every ally's asking, whose side's this guy? Step right up to the Pardon Store. Everything's for sale. Money laundering, fraud, corruption will keep you out of jail. Just find somebody close to him and slide him what you got. Step right up to the Pardon Store, where justice costs a lot. He called a 3-day ceasefire right on Putin's victory day. So Russia got their big parade while Ukraine looked away. He said, tremendous progress, but the deal ain't looking right. Turned out starting wars is easy, finishing takes some fight. He's losing all his demands in Iran one by one. Turns out bombing a country's harder than a Twitter run. Step right up to the Pardon Store. The NATO's come unwound. Ukraine got a 3-day break while Putin marched around. 34 approval pardons sold and allies gone. Step right up to the Pardon Store. God bless, the show goes on. Pardons, peace deals, and justice for all who can afford it.